Alright, I'm back with another Transformers review. This time I'm doing Generations Warpath. And before we move on with the actual toy, let's do like I always do and talk about the character bio here on the back of the package. I'm just going to kind of set that in here. And let's just pan up and take a look at it. There's the pictures there showing him in both of his modes. And it says here, wherever the fight is, that's where Warpath wants to be. His super heavy armor and powerful weapons mean he doesn't have to worry about things like orders or tactics. He just heads straight for wherever the fighting is heaviest, pouring fire into the enemy and hoping there's something left standing to give him a good fight when he gets there. So that's the little bio there. Pretty much, you know, the way Warpath was depicted on the G1 series, always ready for a fight. So anyways, we got him here in his alt mode here, which is obviously a tank. It's a red tank, as if you can't tell that already, but it's got red and gray, which is basically the same color scheme like, you know, the old G1 toy. But they kind of modeled it after the Legends version that came out a few years back, and I got that here, and we'll just kind of show it off here for a comparison. So you can clearly see there it's very similar to this one here. Obviously the red's a darker red, but they modeled the tank mode here, or his alt mode, pretty much after this guy here. And since we're doing comparisons, let's bring in the G1 version there. So you can see it's got the color scheme from this guy here, while it has this sort of design of the tank from this version here. So it's kind of cool. I like the way that they did this. It's kind of updated, more of a futuristic, kind of modern, if you will, sort of looking tank, but it still keeps the old G1 color scheme, which I like. I think it works better than this sort of bright reddish orange color there. Anyways, that's enough about those guys there. Does have some little weapons here on it. It has a little missile here. It's spring loaded. It does shoot. Doesn't shoot too far, but it will shoot. And you just got to kind of press back on it here. Let's see if I can get that. Whoop. Whoop. My hand got in the way, but let's just shoot it. Let's shoot it back here. Man, I don't know, mine doesn't seem to want to shoot very far, and it's easy to get your finger back here somewhere and kind of stop it from wanting to shoot. I don't really like the way that this sticks out so far in the back, but it's a little minor complaint. There it goes, so you can see it shoots, obviously. And I'm just going to set that to the side because it kind of gets in the way when you're transforming it a little bit. And he does have a little missile pod here, and let's zoom in just a little bit here. These little weapons here are sort of, because of the way it transforms, you can basically sort of position them differently. You can have them kind of in an upper position like this if you think it looks better like that. It's up to you. And he's obviously got his main gun here, the tank cannon, or tank turret. And it does have some little posability to it. It can move up and down a little bit here, like so. And it does rotate around a full 360 degrees, which is good. And the other thing about his alt mode here is he does have, if you notice here, he's got some of those little ports for the little weapons clip system that they're using on a lot of these more up-to-date figures, Generations figures, Reveal the Shield figures, I think, have those too. So if you have some of those, you can swap extra weapons onto him here. And let's take a look at the underside here. He does have some little wheels here. Doesn't roll all that well, but they will kind of roll a little bit. Kind of just mostly slides in a way. But you can kind of hear the little wheels kind of catching there and rolling a little bit. Does have another little thing here, a little cool little callback to his character on the original G1 series. It says here Zow, Z-O-W. So that's, you know, if you remember him on the original show, he's always going Zow, pow, bam. So that's obviously a little callback to that. Has a little Autobot symbol painted on here, and he just has some like serial numbers here. I'm not sure if that's a callback to anything. I don't think it is. And there's another little Autobot symbol there. So that's pretty much it for his alt mode here. Not a whole lot going on. It is a tank, so it's not going to have a lot of features. And he has the right amount of weapons. He's got the little missile here, this little smaller, I guess, missile pod here. I think it works like this. It doesn't need a whole lot of weapons to kind of clutter it up. But let's go ahead and move on here and look at the transformation, which is actually pretty simple. Not too basic, but not real complicated either. Let's just kind of get everything set up here. So what you want to do first is just kind of break this part here and just pull it down, and that's going to be his legs. So just grab in here, or just hold on to the turret and just loosen that like that, and just pull it down. There's his legs there, and just pull them apart. And then this is his feet right here, and I kind of like the way they did this. There's kind of like some little posts here. You just gotta unpeg them like so, and rotate it forward, and then just rotate this down like that, and then you're going to close it back in on itself, and it's going to peg in on that same post like that, and then that just kind of snaps into position there. And then you can just go ahead and rotate the leg here to where it's going to be facing you, because that's going to be the front of him. So let's do the other leg here. So just kind of go like that, and close it back up, and do that, and we'll just rotate the leg back around like that. Now you can do his chest now if you want, or you can do his arms. I'm going to go ahead and do his chest first, and you just take this part here, this little gray piece, and fold it in like this, and it's going to have these little pegs here. They're going to peg in right there, and just rotate that in, and it should kind of snap into place there. You got to get it just right. There we go. And that's going to form his abdomen, or kind of chest area. And then it's just all going to rotate here and kind of lock into position like so. So it snaps. And then just kind of straighten out his legs here if they're not already straightened out. Like that. And let's go ahead and do his arms. Kind of similar to his legs, they got some little flaps here that open up like so, and that allows you to bend out his arms like that. And that's also going to reveal his little fists in there, and you just kind of rotate those out and close the little flap back up on itself, and that's how you do his arms. So just do the same thing for the other side like that. And we'll get his little hand out. And let's just kind of straighten him out here a little bit. Okay, and then his head here, actually you would have these out flat, I think, in the instructions, and it tells you to move these up at the end. But his head here, you just push in on the little barrel of the turret here, and that'll pop his head up like so. You could also probably just flip this little flap open and flip it up if you want, you know, on your own without having to push this in. And then you can just rotate these so they're kind of up out of the way, because they kind of hamper the movement of his shoulders here. So the correct position for these is like so. But I guess if you want, you could leave them down too if you like them better that way. And now let's go ahead and put his little missile back in, because now it's out, not in the way anymore. And that's it. That's pretty much how you do his transformation to the robot mode, which is, you know, again, pretty simple. Not too basic though. I like it. It's something that doesn't take a lot of time to do. It's not overly complicated, which is kind of the way how I like my Transformers to be. And let's just kind of just pan in here a bit and look at them a little bit up close. I really like the way they did the head. It looks very much like the G1 version, and just kind of try to compare that here. There he is there. So you can see they got pretty much all the characteristics and some more detail added to it, you know, to make it look like the original version here, which is very cool. But I really like the detail on him. I think the colors work well. Probably could use a few more paint apps, but since he is a tank, he really shouldn't be that decorated with a lot of colors and stuff like that. Of course, if you want to be nitpicky, probably shouldn't be painted red either, being a tank, but whatever. And it's just kind of going down. Very chunky looking, very boxy, very sort of G1 looking in that regard. It's got the tank treads here on his feet. Again, the way they did him, it captures a lot of the sort of the cartoon look of him from the original series, where he had the treads here on the bottom of his feet, and I remember too they were on the back here of his forearms. And obviously he's got the barrel of the turret or cannon right there in the middle of his chest, sticking out, not sticking out the full length like how it was on the original toy here. It obviously goes in, which is very cool. I like that. So that's him there. And let's just kind of flip him around here in the back. Pretty cool looking. Not a lot of kibble or anything hanging off of him. And as far as the articulation goes for him, not too bad really. You can rotate the arms here like so. The head can rotate around. I'm pretty sure it can go all the way around. I'm not going to bother to rotate it all the way around. No real light piping in here though. I think the eyes are pretty much painted black. But back to the shoulders here, you can rotate these around 360. Do like that. Get swivel here. Bend here. The hands can kind of bend a little because of the transformation. One little nitpick I do have is if you look here at his arms right there, or his hands, clearly there's a big gap there. So that's a little minor nitpick, but it doesn't really look too bad. And he does have a hole there for a weapon, so you can maybe swap another weapon from another Transformers figure and stick it in his hand there. Unfortunately, there's no waist rotation here. That's a little bit of a bummer. But it's minor, nothing, you know, to really make the figure be completely worthless. The legs here can go around at the hips like so, pretty much ball jointed. You can swivel here, mine's a little stiff. Bend at the knees, and the feet can kind of get a little bit of a movement, but that's really because of the way it transforms. They should kind of really be locked in there. They shouldn't really be moving a whole lot. But that's pretty much it there for his articulation. And quickly for a little size reference, he is probably a little on the shorter side, I think, but he is a deluxe class. So there he is there with Generations was Dirge. So about the same size as the Conehead Jet. So he's not too small, but he's not too big either, which is kind of how he should be. You know, he's kind of a squat, chunky sort of robot. He's based off of a tank, so he should be kind of a little bulkier, more squat looking, you would think, in his robot mode. So there's a little comparison there. So all in all, I'd have to say this is a really great figure. Actually, this is probably one of my favorite from the Generations line. I think the alt mode works well. It looks great. It's not, you know, cluttered with a bunch of gimmicks or anything. It's just, you know, a tank. It does its job as being a tank. The robot mode is cool. It's got a lot of callbacks to the original look of the original G1 character model of him. Transformation is good. It doesn't take long to get him between modes, so, you know, he's nice to fiddle with in that regard. Articulation is decent. It's, you know, basically all you really need. Probably could have some waist rotation, but other than that, you know, who cares? And he's got the little clip system, so you can add more weapons to him if you want from other figures. But overall, I'd say, yeah, this is definitely one to get. Obviously, if you're into Warpath, I think this version is very good, very well done. So you probably want to pick him up if you're into Warpath. But yeah, if you see this guy on the shelves, I'd say definitely grab him. And with that, I think I'll wrap it up here with my look at Transformers Generations Warpath.